Hey, it's me, Hannah. When was the last time you played Candyland? As a certified sweet tooth, I've always loved the aesthetic of the 1948 children's board game. So with MAGfest less than 10 days away, and a group of friends who are also candy and cosplay loving nerds, we're putting together a Candyland D&D Adventuring Party. I will be taking on the role of Jolly, joining the party as a bard. Since Jolly is less of a humanoid and more of an anthropomorphized gumdrop, I did sketch up an idea of how I can best personify them as a bardic representative of the Gumdrop Mountains. The first piece of cosplay that I want to knock out is a pair of bloomers. I'll be using the Darcy Bloomer pattern from Maria Juderid. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering that name, which I've already printed out, so let's get to cutting.
I am really excited because I was able to thrift all of the fabric for this project from secondhand craft stores. But that does mean I have to vary slightly from my original design unless I want to do some fabric dyeing, which I don't necessarily have time for. So I'm going to use this striped cotton fabric for the bloomers, which feels like it still fits the theme nicely. This pattern comes with written instructions as well as a video, and it was nice having Maria's lovely Norwegian accent keep me company as I worked. Don't worry, I'll link to the video down below. I did decide to make a few small adjustments to the final pattern, which included adding a zipper to one side and removing 2 of the 3 ties on each side in favor of sewing up and adding a little more coverage to the side seams. It's also probably worth calling out that while these striped bloomers are so lovely and precious and comfortable, nice to wear, they do not end up being my final product. You'll see.
Welcome to day 2 of the Con Crunch. Yesterday I finished the bloomers all in one sitting. It was a lot for one sitting. It was really a great pattern to use. So today I am going to start tackling the bolero. I'm going to be using a pattern from Rabbit and Hat that has both the shrug and the puff sleeves that I'm looking for. I got this very purple velvety homemade curtain that I'm going to use for the fashion fabric of the bolero. It has just enough of a structure that I think it's going to be perfect for this piece. And then I have this magenta silk, just a little bit of it though, so I'm hoping to use this for the slashes in the sleeves. And if I don't have enough of this, then I also have this sort of chiffon-y baby pink material that also has a little bit of a striping detail with like gold and silver thread. And if all else fails, then I can go back to using the striped cotton fabric that I used for the bloomers. I have plenty of that. All right, let's see what we can get done. Okay, so my first step, figure out if I can get 16 of these pattern pieces out of this little bit of silk fabric. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're in there. Okay, so to make the slash sleeves, what I'm doing is connecting all of these purple and magenta fuchsia panels in a alternating pattern. And then I'm going to take the sleeve pattern and cut that out of the essential like piece of fabric that I make. But because this silk is so slippy and satiny, I am going to stay stitch all of the panels together, which is making me regret the use of the silk. But the color is too perfect and it is just so light and pretty that I think it's worth it. I think it's going to be worth the time that I'm putting in, even though I'm only on step 2 of the 40-50 step pattern instructions. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. All right, after working all evening, I have one sleeve. That said, I'm very happy with it. Even though this is taking quite a long time, a lot longer than I was anticipating, I really love the way the sleeve has turned out. I love the colors, I love the fabric. I already can't wait for tomorrow to go ahead and put together the rest of the bolero. I mean, this is gonna be awesome. This is gonna be so perfect. Okay, so after putting hours and hours of work into the sleeves, I finally got the bright idea to put together the lining and try it on, see if it fits. Luckily it does. However, I think I want to quilt the yoke. I guess I'm a little concerned it could potentially make the piece a little smaller, and this fits just right. I'm a little concerned if it does get any smaller, but it would be such a nice detail. And I already have some leftover batting. And if it does upset the size, these pieces were really easy to cut, and I have plenty of leftover fabric from those handmade curtains I thrifted. Okay, fine. You've talked me into it. Let's quilt. Hello. So I'm traveling this weekend for an event, but that doesn't mean that the cause grind stops. So I've brought along my sewing machine and the fabric and notions that I need to finish off the bias binding on the bolero, as well as complete a hat and an Elizabethan ruff. Let's talk through the hat first.
I'm using another rabbit and hat pattern for this. All patterns will be linked below, by the way. It's a pretty straightforward pattern, just cut 4 ovals, 3 of which with a head-sized hole in the middle. I'm also going to add a layer of stabilizer in here as well for the brim. Then I put all the pieces together, sewing the top layers together first, then the brim layers. I decided to add this pink piping detail to the brim to help tie it all together a bit better. Also, yes, I'm sewing on the floor. I'm using my leg to operate the presser foot, so you don't need a big ol' studio to get your sewing done, just a sprinkle of chaos magic.
Day 4 of the crunch, and I am tired. I meant to get a little bit more done while I was traveling this weekend. That said, I am really pleased with the progress I have made. The hat came together so nicely. I was able to sew in the feathers. I just have to go ahead and finish off with the bias binding, which fingers crossed shouldn't take too long. I have yet to do the ruff, and I really wanted to spend all day today working on the corset, which I am going to do, but I am very delayed in starting. So I'm gonna jump right into it. I'm gonna self-draft this one using the duct tape method, and I'm already somehow losing daylight. So let's get to it.
Ah yes, the duct tape method, tried and true. First things first, I need to wrap myself in cling film so that the duct tape doesn't stick to my skin or my clothes. Then comes the tape. Yes, I did specifically get pink tape for this project because it's pretty. I hope you like it. Speaking of liking it, if this is your kink, I don't want to hear about it. However, I do have a Ko-fi account linked below. Feel free to support whatever you think this is there. Anyway, this process is easier when you have a friend to help you map out the lines and cut you free, but as you can see, I made it work and I got myself a corset pattern.
Okay, and with just a little bit of finagling, I think we're good to go on the shape. I used a combination of some like leftover bias tape and leftover seam binding that I had, as well as just the seam allowance from certain sections of the panels here to make my boning channels. And I did have to take in a few parts to get enough of a cinch that I'm looking for with this corset, but everything came together pretty easy, just a few tweaks here and there. Obviously I'm using the fabric that I used in the Bloomers originally for the lining, and then I have already cut out and sewn together the fashion fabric for the corset as well, and I included this piping detail here so it will match the hat's piping detail, and I'm just so excited to put it all together. I'm gonna sew a little bit more tonight. I'll probably wrap this up tomorrow, and then we can turn to the ruff. Okay, we are obviously in full crunch mode. I decided that I'm actually going to leave a day earlier than anticipated, so I'm not even sure how many days into actually developing this cosplay we are, but I have the rest of tonight. It's already 9:45. I have tomorrow, and then I'm leaving the following day in the afternoon, and I still have a day job, so not a lot of time. I finished binding off the corset and the bolero. I put eyelets into the corset and added a ribbon and went ahead and tried everything on all together. I hate the bloomers. I don't hate the bloomers. I love the bloomers. The problem is it just doesn't go with the rest of the outfit. I thought it might be like kind of a pop of pale among a bunch of jewel toned colors, and it's just not coming off right. So the last actual piece of this cosplay I need to do in order to finish it and have something to wear is the ruff, which I think I can whip up tonight. And then any extra time I have, I'm gonna see if I can pull out another pair of bloomers in the same dark purple color. I'm not stoked that I have to do again, but at the same time, I'm kind of stoked I get to make the bloomers again, and I am looking forward to it. So honestly, I think I'm going to kind of like rip through the ruff as quickly as possible and hopefully at least get the pattern pieces ready to sew together tomorrow to finish up the new pair of bloomers. And we'll see where we land after that. So this is frustrating. I can't get the collar to lay right. Honestly think it has to do with the fact that in order to kind of maintain some of the whatever lacy detail on the edges, I moved the horsehair back towards the neck, and that is causing the shape to misshapen. I don't know. It's frustrating, but I've tried everything on, and I think I'm just going to have to forego the ruff, even though I feel like it's really important. But I'm literally packing and trying to leave, and I don't think I have time to redo this unless I bring it to work on in the hotel room. No, I'm not doing that.
Talk to me, it's what I want the most in my life. Things a damn. No, deep down, I know you want it. You wanna take a leap and jump in. You wanna fall in love. You get me spinning, wouldn't it be awesome? If you just kiss me slowly and have me in your arms. If I could make you see it, baby, with me something to make the starlight jealous up above. Oh, you make me up, hey, lights go out when I see you moving. Hey, light me up, I love when you groove like that. Oh, hey, could be us, kissing in the moonlight. Sometimes you think about all the ways I'm making you smile. I know I am what you need, and boy, you're just my type. Deep down, I know you want it. You wanna take a leap and jump in. We're gonna fall in love. You get me spinning, wouldn't it be awesome? If you just kiss me slowly and have me in your arms. Oh, you make me up, hey, lights go out when I see you moving. Hey, light me up, I love when you groove like that. Oh, hey, could be us, kissing in the moonlight. Hey, I'm just saying, if I was your girlfriend. Everybody else got it going on. 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 You make me up, hey, lights go out when I see you moving. Hey, light me up, I love when you groove like that.
I mean, okay. So I feel like maybe I've lost the thread a little bit on this video, and I apologize if I've been jumping around. Con crunch, that's the only excuse I have for you. But gang, I'm very happy with how this turned out. I have some ideas on how I can build on it for my next wear. Did somebody say Katsucon? But for now, I love these sleeves, and I'm so happy with my decision to quilt the bolero and to redo the bloomers. The colors and just the silly goofiness of the entire concept has me in an absolute chokehold. That said, I'd like to add a little bit more bling here, a little sugar. I think accenting the quilting with some shiny pearl or like beading detail would just be like really impactful. And then bringing that into the sleeves, like down the slashes, and of course into the bloomers to really tie it all together. I also need to spread these out across more videos. 2 weeks was simply not enough time to do this healthily. Fun, challenging, but I barely left the house for 2 weeks, except to go to Joann's. RIP. But yeah, upcoming projects are gonna need to be broken out a little bit more, especially if I wanna take my construction of these pieces to the next level, which is the goal here. All of that said, I'm still very happy with what I was able to accomplish. And the rest of my group looked so good. And we had a few people give us props and stop us to take some photos. And it was all just so sweet. And I just had so much fun bringing Jolly the Bard to life. And if you had as much fun as I did, it would mean the world to me if you would like and subscribe. And if you do, I will see you in 2 weeks for our next video. Take care.